Hi everyone from Projects in the Palazzo. I'm sitting in the library of the Palazzo, which is one of the main rooms that's been finished here. And tonight I'm just going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Italy, what's going on with us, and what's going on with Projects in the Palazzo. So first of all, I just wanted to, I don't think I ever really introduced us, but we live in Italy. I live in Italy with my husband 12 months a year. I'm Italian by birth. He's Italian by birth. I grew up in the United States. He grew up in Italy. I have two passports. We travel back and forth between Italy and the United States very frequently to visit our American family, but we live 12 months a year in Italy. So if you have any questions about traveling with two passports, we do it all the time. So happy to answer any questions. We have just finished 3 trips to the United States since August, which, believe me, I know it's dizzying. It's dizzying. So we've done some videos about how to use which passport when, if you're a dual passport holder. And definitely we encountered that a lot of times on these past trips over the past 4 months or so. So anyway, that's who we are. We're restoring this ancient palazzo that's been in my husband's family. And so let's kick off. What's going on in Italy? So, I mean, so many things, so many things. We are bottling our olive oil this week. And so we're really excited to do our main shipment to the United States, which goes to the United States, which goes to directly to our customers' doors. And our olive oil, I mean, I don't like bragging, but I will say you can't find an olive oil like it because we've won multiple international competitions and we're DOP and we ship to your door. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but again, olive oil is our passion, not our livelihood. So, and it sells out every year, so I don't need to sell too hard, but that is what's going on right now in Italy, is that we're bottling our award-winning olive oil. Okay, a kind of strange thing that happened in Italy today, and actually in our city, you may have seen it, you can Google about it, is that there was a World War II bomb that was discovered as they were cleaning the river. It was discovered maybe, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago. And so they obviously have to detonate it. It is an American bomb, 500-pound bomb. And so they evacuated the entire lower part of Orvieto from, I think it was 8 a.m. until about 1 or 2 p.m. today. Now, it didn't impact us at all. We're in the high part of town. We're a couple minutes walk from the Duomo. But we do have friends who live down there, and they had to leave their home for the whole morning. So they took it, I believe, to a quarry, una cava, and they detonated the bomb there, which is like so crazy, right? 80 years later. But that's kind of interesting, crazy thing that's going on in Italy. What's going on with us? So aside from traveling back and forth to the United States frequently, we also, we did a little trip down south to the Amalfi Coast. We saw La Reggia di Caserta, which is the royal palace at Caserta. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It is the largest royal palace in the world if you measure by volume. I know this because I was like, how big is it? And apparently there are various criteria to measure royal palaces. But anyway, if you measure it by volume, it's the largest in the world. It has 1,200 rooms. It's bigger than Versailles. And it's more beautiful than Versailles. So go. It takes 4 hours on foot to see just the garden. So insider's tip, take the shuttle and you can get a quick view of some highlights. But it's amazing. And we have some videos out on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube about the Reggia di Caserta, the royal palace. We also visited some of our cousins in Lazio. There's a part of Lazio called Ciociaria, which is near and dear to my heart. It's beautiful and undiscovered, and you won't find any tourists there who've read all about Tuscany and are hungry to no, it's authentic. It's inexpensive. The food is great. The people are lovely. So we went to see our cousins there, the town that my grandmother was born in. And then we went down to the Amalfi Coast because it's, on the way. Why not? So tips about the Amalfi Coast, because people always ask me, don't go to Positano, the town of Positano, because it's really crowded. It's really crowded and you're not going to be happy in the town of Positano. Maybe if you have a villa on the outside of Positano, but that's another story. So we go to a couple of other towns and have just a magical time. It's so special, and it's really special just on the shoulder season. So we were there in October. It's also great in May because, again, you don't get those hordes and crowds of tourists. So those are just a few tips. Okay, what's going on in projects in the Palazzo? Last topic here for the evening. I will mention, so my husband and I and the kids, we are 100% Italian speaking household. We don't speak English. We're not an expat. I know there are a lot of expats who live in Italy and they speak English at home, and that's great. Like, you have to, because how else are your kids going to learn English well? But we have a different situation, and we are 100% Italian speaking household. I mention that because when I think about projects in the Palazzo, a very large part of the communication that goes on with the workers, etc., is not in Italian, but in dialect. So I just want to remind anyone who's thinking about restoring a house that, your electricians, plumbers, wall builders, muratori, your gardeners, they are largely going to speak in dialect. So make sure that you're aware of that fact, because otherwise you will go into conversations with them and you'll think, I thought I knew Italian. Is not sufficient. Like, you're going to need to know some dialect too. So make sure you're just aware of that. And if you don't understand dialect, and you just make sure that you have someone with you who does understand dialect. I understand dialect because I have to, because I live here in this area. And, but I do not speak dialect. One, because I don't really want to. You can have a conversation that's one person speaking in Italian, one person speaking in dialect, which is kind of interesting. It also depends on the dialect. So I speak in Italian and they speak to me in dialect, but I have to understand what they're saying. So anyway, projects in the Palazzo, that's just an element of it. Some things, really exciting things that have happened in the past month or so. New door to the garage, which actually they're coming to adjust tomorrow. Our doppiatore, which is it's a doubling of the garage vertically, and we have a couple of really cool videos about that on social and YouTube, where we have like basically an elevator for one car, so it sits above another. Very exciting. Like, we're so excited. I can't tell you, because parking is a nightmare here, and so it's great that we can have it inside the Palazzo. The plumbers have almost finished. The garden is finally totally planned, and they mounted the panels. It's basically a fence and privacy panels in the garden. We have our flooring that arrived like probably 3 months ago, and it is going to be installed very soon in the upstairs suites. And tomorrow we should hear status about our elevator. So that's what's coming. That's it. I will leave you to your Sunday night. I am drinking this evening a red wine battito from the De Cugnano winery, which is one of our favorites. We have a few favorites. Hard to choose just one. And that's it. It's delicious, and have a great Sunday night.